What is up, and welcome into the Easy Smoke and the GM podcast. I'm your host, Ezra McCann, and I'm joined, as always, by my outstanding co-hosts. He's a Chicago Public League legend. He's a Simeon legend. He's a Grambling State legend. He played second base for the Tigers. Back in the day, he was all SWAC, and he's now the head coach for his alma mater, the Simeon Wolverines. He is Brandon Williams, a.k.a. Coach Smoke. We've got our NFL draft analyst, fresh off the draft, and we saw him all night Thursday night on what was it, Draft Central? Is that what we called that show?
Sure, we'll go with that. Draft Central.
Yeah,
Draft.
whatever the show was. He was on with Alex Brown, Lance Briggs. Well, who else was on that show?
Ruthie Polinsky,
Lawrence Holmes. He was on with everybody.
Ken Davis.
Ken Davis was on the show. I got Ken Davis. Yes, sir. Breaking down what the Bears did on Thursday in the first round. You can catch him on the Under Center podcast. You can catch him everywhere. He is our GM. He is Glenn Morgan. The day has finally come. Caleb Williams is officially a Chicago Bear, and I guess we got to live with it. I'm all right with it. I'm all right. What about you?
Are
guys?
you?
I'm fine. Really? I'm fine.
Yeah. You convincing yourself or trying to convince us?
Look. I'm fine.
I'm kind of like what Glenn just said, trying to convince myself. And it's weird because I said all along it's either Justin or Caleb. If it ain't neither one of them, just Bears can just go on somewhere. But
right,
I found myself trying to force myself to be happy about this.
Yeah,
and I think what ultimately got me over the hump was the Odunze pick.
Okay.
That's what ultimately got me over the hump. I still have my what I call it?
Reservations?
My reservations when it come to Caleb. But ultimately, like I've been saying, and with the Odunze pick, Poles is putting it all on Caleb. You got everything you need. If you can't get it done with that, Chicago, we find out if the curse is really real.
that's real talk.
Because man,
I can't name.
I don't know if
first. Oh, go ahead.
Number one pick that I think we was about to say. I don't know if we've ever seen a number one pick come into this type of situation offensively. No. Offensively, like he has an offense where, okay, I know I said playoffs should be the definitely standard, but I will fall back just a little bit on the fact that we have probably the best division in football.
AFC North. Second
AFC North. So up there, one of the best divisions in football. So I'll scale back just a bit. But if he's as talented as they say, he should break every single season passing record the Bears has had as a rookie. If he's as good as we think. He has the weapons that no one has ever had as a Chicago. Not we ain't talking just as a rookie or as a first overall pick. No Bears quarterback has had the weapons this dude is about to have. No Bears quarterback.
I'd say Cutler came close.
Yeah.
Came close.
When he had Brandon Marshall, Martellus Bennett, Matt Forte,
Alshon Jeffrey.
But Alshon Jeffrey we drafted. And he was like a second round pick, right?
Yes.
Alshon was a second round pick. Forte was a third round pick.
Right.
Granted,
Forte was already established.
At that point, he was established.
Right.
At that point, he was established.
Right.
But I mean, we ain't have a DJ Moore. I mean, Brandon Marshall.
Brandon Marshall been in a couple Pro Bowls.
But Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Rome Odunze. Like,
we didn't have a third wide receiver. I'll give you that.
Like D'Andre Swift,
The line was
Khalil
better.
Herbert.
Well, Matt Forte is better than Swift.
I'll say that as well, but I don't know. This offense is stacked.
And here's the thing: it's not just the offense, the defense too. And apparently, our special team just took a notch up. So, and the play caller seems to be legitimate. Yeah, yes. To everyone's point, there's very little wrong on the surface when you look at it on the surface. You peel a layer or two back and you realize the Bears still have interior offensive line concerns and questions. You have depth concerns on the defensive edge, which didn't really get addressed until late. And you can't expect the 5th round guy to be the guy that addresses it fully.
Just talk on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, all right, that's fine. I mean, this is a football team. If you're going to win and go to the playoffs, you need everybody. And I think no, you don't need everybody.
Not according to the national media when he came to Chicago. We just needed Caleb Williams.
Right. Well, yeah. Opposed to the national idiots, especially those on Fox. Yeah, I mean, you need complementary football. But to your point, if you just want to focus on the offense, I mean, there's still quite. And here's the thing: we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
And I think part of the thing, and I'm trying to figure it out, because I'm kind of with you guys. I mean, Ez is the Bears fan, beyond reproach. So he's gonna be like, I'm in. Even though you can hear the reservation in his voice, he's not gonna admit to it. Me and Smoke gonna be like, well, yeah, really good. And yeah, Doze really sold it for me. So it's like it still had to be something other than Caleb. I think the thing with Caleb, and I think here's the thing: we're all Chicago fans, and we have lived through a lot of bad results with our teams, collegiately as well as professionally, but more so professionally. And there are times where we get our hopes up high and it gets smashed, to the pieces. And so we've become extremely leery. And it's just, it's Chicago, and it's like, hey, it's going to be warm. Like, is it really? Because the weather's going to shift on you. It's like, hey, it's going to be a mild winter. And then you're good. And then you get to like March and then a blizzard hits you. You're just like, what the hell? You always got to like that other shoe. And I think with Caleb, there's been so much hype. I'm not even talking about in Chicago, just around this young man nationally, since, the Oklahoma-Texas game when he came in and came back and helped Oklahoma come back against Texas and win that Red River rivalry shootout. And then the other things he's done where he's grabbed the ball out the running back's hand and make a play, and all these special plays, and he goes to USC in his first year there, he wins a Heisman. You had LA winning a Heisman. I mean, there's a lot of hype. And then this year, all this hype around this young man. And it's like, I don't trust the hype. Like, I need substance. And it's like everything says his stats, everything says this young man should succeed. And now we see everything in place for him to succeed. And it's like, no, something else gonna happen. Something weird is gonna happen. It's like, can we really be this fortunate? It's probably, I'd almost say this might be how the Kansas City Chiefs felt when they had Mahomes. I really do believe they're like, do we really have what we think we have? We've been so close. We've been knocking on the door. We've had our ups and downs. We've had this playoff team. We've had Joe Montana come in here. We've had Elvis Gerback. We've had, this person and that person. We've had Derek Thomas. They've had some really fantastic players, Hall of Fame caliber players over the last 35 years.
Christian Okoye,
Nigerian Nightmare, all these cats. And it's like, do we really want to trust this quarterback from Texas Tech? I mean, I know he got a big arm, but is that going to translate? And then it happened. So I hope we have a Texas Tech, or I hope we have our moment where it happens. But it's tough to put in it because the Chicago part of me is like, are we really going to be able to go from Justin to getting a better quarterback? And not to say that Justin was in all be all, but you could see the talent there. You could see the fact that this young man fought through adversity. I mean, as good as Caleb has it, Justin had it at 180 in the opposite direction. I mean, it was polarity differences. So it's like, are we really going to be able to go from a young man who had potential, who we could still put our trust in and faith in that you put things around and will get better because we saw that begin to happen. But now all this is in place. Are we going to trust this dude who's not NFL caliber height, who, whatever your doubts may come into? And I think that's part of it. Just being a Chicagoan, it's like you said earlier, Smoke, we're going to find out if the curse is real. I mean, the fact that that's in your head.
Yeah.
This is the town where you had the Billy Goat curse, you had the Black Cat curse. I mean, this is the town of curses when it comes to your teams. So it's like, okay, now you got to prove it to me. Because in our minds, it's like, dude, there should be no excuse. There should be no reason. And then you just brought it up as we're in a tough division. So there's more doubt thrown in there. Like, is he going to be good enough to overcome all that? I mean, look, man, Minnesota ain't no joke, and they're not going anywhere. They're not. Sam Darnold, with all those weapons, with Kevin O'Connell coach, I mean, think how many games Minnesota won with like 3 or 4 quarterbacks they had last year. Their quarterback situation was horrible after Cousins got hurt. Horrible. And they didn't have Justin Jefferson, 4 to 6 games? He's in a contract situation, so he wants to play well. They want to keep him, which is probably why they went and got JJ, so they can afford to keep him. Let Cousins go. You got Addison coming to his second year. Hawkinson's still there. Aaron Jones. Their draft was pretty solid. I mean, they got a defensive player that can help out Brian Robinson in various ways. I mean, that's going to be a problem. Detroit had a great draft, another great draft. They shored up their weakness in the secondary with their first 2 picks of defensive backs. Guys that should have been, they were top 30, 32 players, top 35 players. Green Bay maybe didn't have a star-laden draft, but they had a solid draft too. And they're not going anywhere. And nobody's quarterback is retiring anytime soon. And all those teams, I will say all those teams are deeper than we are. They have depth in key positions more than we do. So it's going to be tough. That being said, I expect no less than 10 wins. I'm sorry. I mean, what are we talking about? Hey, it's going to be the same situation every year going forward. It ain't going to get no easier.
Glenn, we were talking about this Thursday night, man. That's the floor.
That's the floor. 10 wins.
10 has got to beat the floor. It's got to be the floor. You won 7 with Justin, and he didn't have this amount of talent around him to get those 7, and it could have easily been 10 if the ball bounces
a few games.
a
different way.
Coaching. And we almost finished 3-3 in the division. Don't forget that. If the coaching didn't pull back against Detroit, we're 3-3 in the division.
Yeah.
Don't let Justin mess around in Vicksburg with the good draft they had. Don't let Justin mess around in that division, because that division is just as tough. And if he messes around and Pittsburgh gets in the playoffs and we look like we win in 8 games, 8-9, 7-10, it's gonna happen.
And that's something that probably worries me most. If things don't go well this year 1, the criticism, how will Caleb handle it?
I think he'll handle the criticism fine.
I'm a little
based on
the experience he went through this past year and learning what that looked like.
This was a guy that at USC,
right,
You know,
And did he get
late in the
criticized?
year,
They
late in the
made a lot of
year,
excuses for him too,
late in the
though.
year, did not talk to the media
Yeah,
because of the way the season was going.
yeah. I think he seems to be a person who reflects on things well. And I think he saw how that looked, and that's a question that was asked of him various from different media people, and I'm sure the Bears asked him that question. And I think he usually is pretty upfront about those things, and I think that's something that it's a one he grew on with. I think there's enough veteran help on that team too, leadership that they'll keep him focused. It's not a lot of young guys on the team per se. There's some good veterans on the squad, especially on the offensive side, that I think they'll be able to support him and buffet him, but also hold him accountable. And that's good because if it was a lot of young guys, I think you would see it more if everybody was a Dunze. If a lot of the talent was a Dunze that age, like a year or two type kind of guy, I think you would see more of that. But yeah, but my biggest thing is the depth, man. One or two cats go down, it's gonna be an issue, especially on that offensive interior.
What are you talking about? We just drafted a guy out of Yale today, Hinsdale Central kid.
Yeah, Karan Amagaji.
We're gonna be just fine. Just fine.
Yeah. Hey man, 86-inch wingspan. There's a lot of protection. He can cover a lot of area. I get it, but yeah, yeah, yeah. Look, it's exciting. Let's. I'm gonna get off. I've been Mr. Buzzkill and pissing everybody's Cheerios the last couple of episodes. It's exciting. Getting a Dunze, like you said, is exciting because we have an opportunity to see these two grow. They seem like their chemistry is already on par for what you need to have success in terms of relationship building and understanding, being, thinking each person being able to finish other person's sentence, that type of connectivity. Yeah, I think the question marks are Shane Waldron, Eberflus. Like I was listening to Amina Kimes, and she's like, "We already know what it looks like in Minnesota. We have proof of play. We've seen it. We've seen Kevin O'Connell when it's really bad still be able to get something out of offense. We know that offense works. We've seen it in Los Angeles work, and we saw it in Minnesota work. We know what Justin Jefferson is. We know what the other wide receiver is. We know Brian Robinson and how aggressive that defense is, and now they have another athletic person, chess piece that they can maneuver with. There's proof of play there. And we have it in spades with Detroit and Green Bay because of what they did last year. Look at the Bears. Outside of the defense, I don't know what this offense is going to look like. It's a new quarterback, it's a new offensive coordinator, it's a lot of new pieces. I don't know, but the catch is ain't no excuses because you got rid of the other guy because you felt like he couldn't get it done. So you bring in a new guy and you give him more to play with than the other guy. Problem is everybody else's division did the same damn thing too. So good luck. Got to stay healthy, man.
This reminds me of I think it was 99. Dante Culpepper got drafted by Minnesota.
We took Cade McNown.
We did take Cade McNown.
Cade McVerb. The verb is to go.
I was actually happy about that draft pick.
McNown?
Yeah, when it first happened.
Oh my God, I wish I knew you. I could have screamed at you. Like, dude, I saw him play Tennessee. He's got a pop gun arm. He's horrible. He was it Michael JJ Stokes or
JJ Stokes was at UCLA. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's another tall dude there, Michael Sturdivant or something like that. It was another tall wide receiver they had. And that's all he was doing was just throwing fucking like fucking Manziel throwing to Michael Evans, just throwing up in the air. Pop gun arm. He's horrible. He was a piece of short, 6 foot nothing. Man, I was so pissed off. And I screamed racism to the highest degree because Dante at UCF had set the NCAA record at that time with the most completion percentage at 70%. No, he had broke the record. And they actually played a pretty good team earlier that year too. How do you pass on 6'4", 6'5", 240 with a bazooka arm? You're gonna give me 6 foot nothing and tell me at the press conference, I'll never forget, he's got a lot of moxie. Moxie? Moxie?
They all said he was the most NFL ready quarterback coming out in that draft.
Yeah, NFL ready. NFL ready to be a backup.
He had one good game. I mean, they played against Washington, and Marcus Robinson had a great game. He had a good game in a
My
Bears
God, dude,
uniform.
that has to be of all the bad picks we've had, that had to be one of them. I would take Trubisky 3 times a day over
I would
that
tell you,
mofo.
and wait, I was making a thought. Wait, I had a thought there. What was I talking about? I
Sorry,
lost my
my bad.
train of thought now. Thank you, Glenn. Oh, I was talking about Dante Culpepper and getting drafted by Minnesota, and you had Chris Carter and Randy Moss had become,
already.
and you would see the NFL films had them mic'd up, and every game they're going to, hey, we expect greatness out of you. You can't make mistakes, and this is a rookie coming out. I feel like this is what it's going to be like for Caleb Williams, stepping in with this group, with a DJ Moore, with a Keenan Allen. It's going to be very similar, and so he's got to be ready.
I think the difference is Dante probably still wondering, am I ready for this level? Because playing at UCF ain't playing like playing at USC. Caleb's been a star pretty much since high school. I think he has those expectations himself. Like, hell, like I said, I thought that, his dad was like Todd Marinovich's dad, kind of like a stage dad, and, put him through all these things and having all these rigorous tests. No, that was Caleb wanting that. He was telling his parents.
I was going to say difference is Caleb wanted that. Todd Marinovich didn't want it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Caleb wanted it since like 12. So I think, when you get up at a press conference at the combine that you're not doing anything at physically and say, I want to be legendary. I think.
Has Caleb ever had a McDonald's hamburger? That was the whole. Todd Marinovich had never eaten at McDonald's.
Well, I'm gonna say Caleb. If you didn't have a McDonald's hamburger, he probably had a couple of Taco Bells. I'd have to imagine. Living on your own as a high schooler, at some point you ain't eating healthy all the time, bro. But yeah, I think he welcomes that. I think he expects that. My problem, he's so, I don't want to say he's high strung, but I think he's so hyper focused on wanting to be successful. I hope that doesn't get in the way of him being successful. I want him to. We have to find out how coachable he is. So I think in college, Lincoln Kennedy, at some point, I think, all right, do what you think is best kind of deal. Let my best athlete be my best athlete. In the pros, you're gonna have to harness that a little bit more. So how well he interacts with the head coach, his receivers, understanding the line and how they're blocking for him, not forgetting about the running backs, and how well he adjusts to adversity and just to coaching. And those last two, I think, are the things that will help him be successful. Still might not mean shit. And like you said, it's a tough division, man. I mean, I'm expecting 10 wins, but you can have 10 wins and not make the playoffs in that division.
Yeah.
People.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, people forget that Pittsburgh made the playoffs last year. They had 10 wins, but the Bengals, if they don't have Joe Burrow, if they have Joe Burrow, maybe they have 10 wins too, or 9 wins. I mean, it's health is going to be a big thing too, man. But in that division, 10 wins might not be enough. Excuse me.
A doomsday at 9. I'm gonna be honest, and I'm not. I don't have the scout pedigree that you have, Glenn. I wanted to go pass rush there. I wanted to go edge there. Whether it was Verse or Dallas Turner. And then I messed around and listened to Colin Cowherd.
Why would you do that?
I don't know, but he
What did
actually
he say?
made some sense to me. And he said that the Bears grew up. You know, in the past they would go in this situation and go defense. You gotta have a strong defense in Chicago. And we continue to live in the past here. We're all about the 85 Bears. They finally got it right. And they went, this is an offensive league. You got to score points in this league. And they went and got another weapon to make sure that the quarterback has enough to win with. And I was like, damn, he's right. He's exactly right.
No, he's not.
Why not?
About his reasoning's not right, but I think the result, the choice, I think was right. I think he's right about the choice. I don't necessarily take his reasoning because it's like praising with faint damnation
Backhand
as well.
compliment.
Yes, backhand compliments, exactly. Because I was, during some of the in-between stuff, because Alex Brown was saying he wanted offensive lineman. He didn't want a third wide receiver. We don't need a third wide receiver. We need offensive lineman, blah, blah, blah. And if that ain't there, then go defense. And I think the reason why Odunze makes a whole lot of sense. And yeah, the Bears, I don't know if grow up's the word, but I think the Bears are thinking beyond. I think the Bears are thinking for the now and also thinking ahead. First and foremost, you're doing what you can to situate this quarterback, your rookie quarterback, as best possible. So why not finish that off? Why not top that off? 3 wide receivers is pretty much what we see a lot of NFL teams utilize, unless you have like a dominant tight end who becomes like the third receiver. But with Keenan Allen, you have a wide receiver who has an injury history, history of injuries. And he's an aging receiver, and we don't know if he'll be back next year. We don't know if he's going to do an extension. DJ Moore's contract comes up, I think, in 2 years. And again, business is business, is what he's been noted to say, especially after Justin was let go. So he still wants another contract. He wants to get that bag. That'll probably be the last big contract he has. And he said after the next contract, he's probably retiring. So he's looking to really get paid. So in a year or two, you might not have any weapons. Or during this year, if Keenan Allen goes down and you don't have Odunze, now what does your wide receiver room look like? Travis Scott? Was it Taylor Scott?
Tyler Scott.
Tyler, I'm sorry.
Man, you said every TR
everything
name.
But right. Tyler Scott, excuse me. So you got Tyler Scott. And look, I'm a Vol for life, but I still don't understand why Velus Jones is on the team, and he ain't gonna help you much in the receiving department. So DJ Moore all of a sudden becomes double team, and with a young quarterback, unless Kmet is really killing and Everett Wallace is really killing, they're gonna take away, DJ and Caleb can move out the pocket and stuff, but he ain't Justin. And you get DeAndre Swift, and all those little things help. But getting Odunze helps you with your depth, helps you with your speed to attack down deep, so that those underneath routes for DJ Moore and Allen and Kmet will be there. Helps you be able to block downfield, but more importantly, you develop that tandem with a quarterback where these guys are growing together. Odunze doesn't have to be the guy, but he can learn how to be the guy by 2 of the best guys, and one that he actually has somewhat of a comparison to in Keenan Allen. The other thing is, outside of quarterback, we've said it before, when they're talking about getting paid, getting that second contract, wide receivers are taking the most money. So you get Odunze now in the first round, you get that 5th-year option. You get an extra year, as opposed to if you got a receiver in the second round, if you got the edge rush that you're talking about, or an offensive lineman like they were talking about, you get your receiver in a 3rd round at pick 75, you only get 4 years with him. Here you get an extra year. So all of those things, I think, are bigger reasons why you take Odunze, and then you still try to find, because we don't the other edge rusher doesn't have to be great. He just needs to be able to rush the passer. And ostensibly, after Thursday, you still had 2 picks where maybe you could try and find that. Now, I'll talk about my frustrations afterwards because they passed on a dude, and other dude I really wanted got taken right
Right
before
before
the
I was
Bears
looking at
pick.
that,
Oh my
I was
God.
watching at 70
So
at
pissed.
75 there.
So
I was
pissed.
like, that's the guy Glenn wanted.
Yeah, the Falcons took him at 74. The Bears at
Who was
75.
let everybody who that was.
Braylon Trice out of Washington, and Braylon Trice to me fit perfectly what the Bears needed. Like, there's no downside to his game. He's not as explosive. He's not a twitchy athlete, but he's consistent, long arms, plays and run well, holds up at the point of attack. He's able to string out the run. He's got these arms that help with containing, especially if when running backs are trying to get around the edge. He's got these great loping strides, and when he does penetrate and get through, he's able to get to the quarterback like objects in the mirror appear closer than what they really are with him. And not only that, but he plays angles really well, and he can use his arms, the length to ward off quarterbacks trying to escape him. And he covers so much ground. He's a smart player. He doesn't rush upfield. He doesn't rush him. He doesn't rush past the quarterback and put himself out of the play. He plays the screen well. He's athletic. He has a couple of counter moves. He's been consistent over the last couple of years, and then last year he did exactly what the Bears defense is pretty much constructed to do, and that's create pressure. And last year he led the country in the FBS in pressures. This is Braylon Trice out of Washington with 79 pressures, and that's the kind of stuff we're talking about, man. He's got that length. You put him. And then on, you don't have to take him out. He's a 3-down. He's a 3-down defensive edge. Some of these other guys, like the one we eventually got, Austin Booker, you're not going to use him against the run. He's just going to come in on a nickel package or when it's 3rd and long, and that's fine. But you have to utilize DeMarcus Walker out there on the rundowns. But with Braylon Trice, he gives you that depth. And crazy enough, his comp is Montez Sweat. He's just like Montez Sweat. It's like having Montez Sweat on the other side. And the fact that we did not get him really frustrates me because I thought at 75 we could have actually he got taken right beforehand. I think the Bears fell back and took who they did take, which was Karan Amangaji, local kid out of Hinsdale, played at Yale. And again, we joked earlier about how long his arms, his wingspan is at 86, and I think his arms are like a 36-inch arms. Now he had a quad injury, so he didn't really test out.
Wait, how's that possible?
How's what possible?
Your wingspan is 86, but you only got 36-inch arms.
I don't know. That's how he measured. You talk to God. I can't figure out. He's got long arms.
No, because I had like a 78-inch wingspan. I wear 38.
Okay, well, you're not Karan Amangaji, no disrespect to you, but
I'm not saying I was. I'm just saying wingspan wise.
Dude, I just tell you what the information tells me. He's at 86.
That's interesting. Wingspan. All right.
It's crazy. And that's what that's what Poles loves. He loves that long wingspan. Basically, him and Braxton Jones are kind of the same dude. He's a little bit bigger than Braxton, he's a little bit heavier than Braxton, but he's just as athletic. But he's a little unpolished because, again, he played at Yale. So with his physical attributes, he's going to dominate in the Ivy League, no doubt. But I think he's like an academic All-American, real smart guy as well.
Got to be. He's at Yale. They don't let dummies into that place.
That's true. And I mean, I think Poles likes the local angle because sometimes those guys, they play a little bit differently. It means a little bit more to them, so on and so forth. But I really would have liked Braylon Trice. That being said, what I didn't get, I did not understand drafting a punter. I don't care how great the punter. I don't care if it's Ray Guy.
That was going to be my next. That was going to be my next question.
I don't care if it's Ray Guy. Ray Guy's in the Hall of Fame. The Ray Guy Award. I don't draft a punter unless I'm the 85 Bears going into 86. And I'm just like, for shits and giggles, why not? Because we've got everything else. We don't have everything else that we're drafting a punter in the 4th. Look, if we had a 7th round pick, okay. A 4th round?
Wait, didn't Wani pick Ty Cyber in the 2nd round?
Was it Tyler Sauerbrunn or Chris
I
Gardocki?
think it was
Tyler
Sauerbrunn.
Sauerbrunn.
Second
Yeah,
round.
second round out of
Second
West
round.
Virginia.
Insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
Insane. And look, I remember watching Tyler at West Virginia, and I was like, dude, his leg is a weapon. The second round? Come
He
on,
was the
man.
he was the cockiest kicker ever.
Ever. Well, yeah, him and the guy that's on TV now.
Oh, McAfee?
McAfee, yeah.
Nah,
Different reasons. McAfee got more swag.
Yeah.
Tyler Sauerbrunn was cocky because he thought he was like, a great football player.
He's
He
like,
would try and
dude,
make
you're
those
the punter.
tackles. Yeah.
You're the punter guy.
The punter. You play like
fourth round. And I get he's the best punter on the board. I heard Mel Kiper, he said he didn't have a problem with it because the Bears didn't. At that point, it was the last pick that the Bears needed. If you need a punter,
no, they needed an edge rusher. The very next pick after Amangaji.
He's a punter, man.
The very next pick after Amangaji was Jonah Ellis.
And was Turner Gill that bad this year?
Yeah, he was.
Worth drafting somebody in the fourth round over?
Not to me, but statistically, he was really bad.
Yes. Okay, so you go find somebody else.
Yes, in free agency, it's a punter. Yeah, dude, you got other needs. You got, and
then crap, we got to trade back in. We got to get somebody to play.
Right. Oh crap, that's what it felt like. Like, oh crap, we got to trade back in. I think Eberflus just looked at him side eyes, like, really, dude? Third year in a row? Really? This is what we're doing here. I'd got a new look and everything, and I'm still getting treated like I'm boy's stepchild. Really?
Well,
but also
he did give him two defensive tackles in the second round last year.
Neither one of them were a true three technique. Neither one of them.
I'm just saying. It's not like he went kicker in the third round last year,
Dude, like,
but
bro,
he went punter in the fourth this year though.
I've been asking you to help this defense run. I need a three technique. I need a weak side. I need it. He get everything but. Everything but. You got to wait till next year. Be like, and he might not be. It'll be just like Justin. Eberflus will be gone because of Bears with like 9 and 8.
They ain't gonna get the shit that we needed.
Exactly. Exactly. It'll be like the best three. Dude, there's so many edge rushers coming out next year. Woo, buddy. There's gonna be like the wide receivers were this year in the draft. There's probably gonna be 6 or 7 edge rushers taken.
Wasn't like the first 14 picks this year offense?
Offense, yeah.
All offense. Yep. I remember saying a couple of mocks that I did, a little preamble article, a couple of paragraphs introducing the mock. I'm like, this is going to be a year you're going to see more offensive players taking the defensive players. I didn't think it'd be that crazy, but yeah. But next year, it's going to be like, well, never mind. I was about to get politically, socially insensitive. But it's going to be the opposite. I'll just say that. Dude, it's the first player off the board could be a defensive player. Might not even be a quarterback next year.
Austin Booker, they traded back into the 5th round at 144, picked him up, defensive end out of Kansas. Yeah. You said that he's not an every down player.
No, he's not. He's going to have to grow into his body a little bit. He's lean guy, about 6'4.5", 240. But long. His frame can probably handle another 10, 15 pounds without losing too much athleticism. He's quick off the ball. He's got a good first step. Got a couple of moves, a swipe move. He's kind of bendy, so he can get around the edge, apply pressure. Again, kind of like how I was saying with Braylon Trice with the long arms. He can utilize that sometimes. That's how he kind of gets beyond the blockers, either with a quick chop swipe or kind of he doesn't do a swim move too much, but he kind of gets under and uses his length to get past the blockers. Sometimes he gets upfield too quickly and gets himself out of the play a little bit, but he does not hold up as strongly at the point of attack that you would like, especially in the NFL. He doesn't have that NFL strength functionality just yet, that functional NFL strength he's going to need, especially against bigger offensive linemen and guys that are like 6'5" in the 320s, 330s. They run to his side is going to be a problem. But you can get him in there. I figure, any package, any third down package where the yardage 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7 or long or something like that, where it's more obvious that they're going to pass the ball. You slide DeMarcus Walker inside, put him next to the kid out of Florida, Javon Dexter, and Montez Sweat. Now you've got long guys with longer arms that makes it more difficult. They can get up. Montez and Booker can get upfield. These guys in the interior are long, can stick their arms up. Keeping Javon Dexter and Walker in the middle makes it so that the run isn't, that teams don't just gash you because that you got a little bit smaller, but you're not so much. They're still be good against the run. You can keep the linebackers in there. Both those guys are good. And you've got Edmonds, who's long, 6'5", 250, and a ball hawking secondary. So I think what it does, however, by getting Booker, it speeds up the pass rush, gives you a little more speed on the outside. And again, applying pressure. As long as he understands he doesn't have to make the sack every play, he just needs to apply the pressure. It can work to the betterment and to the functionality of the Bears' defensive schemes.
I would love to get Dave Wannstedt's take on this guy, because he sounds like a Jimmy Johnson Wannstedt type of guy.
I'll tell you this. He's got legs. He can get upfield. He's got the length, kind of like Jason Taylor. When I was in Miami, I had Jason Taylor
at the Dolphins. When I was at the Dolphins.
Jimmy told me about Jason Taylor, and Jimmy says that Taylor's the kind of guy, and I went with that. And I think Austin Booker brings you similar kind of functionality with the kind of physical attributes to get upfield and get after. I really like that.
Well, no, they believed in bringing those bigger outside linebackers, bringing them down to defensive end,
right?
To take advantage of the speed. So that's what it reminds me of, a little throwback to that. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully he can be that pass rush specialist that we could use in the coming years. Smoke, no HBCU players drafted this year. Second time in 4 years. But we got a guy from the wrong HU that signed as a undrafted free agent. What's the kid's name?
Running back.
I should know this. Running back Ian Wheeler, running back out of Howard. As soon as I saw that signing, I said we need to throw this whole thing away. That can't be a good thing. But no. Shout out to Howard's Ian Wheeler. Looking forward to some big things as an undrafted free agent. Just want to throw that out there. Show the HBCUs love out there. Overall, any preliminary draft grade for you guys?
Yeah, initially I said C+ once. This is before they went back into the 5th round. When I thought they were done with their first 4 picks, I was like, it was an A on Thursday night, and then it dropped to like a C+ for me overall when you take the punter and then you get Karan and you don't get the edge rusher. Going back in there, getting Booker, understanding how the punter can actually probably help out the quarterback as well, just like the defense can help out the quarterback. They're complementary football. I moved and Karan being athletic enough to where he can play in the interior and the exterior on the line. I move it up to like a B+. Because here's the other thing too. The other draft picks that we use was Keenan Allen. Fourth round pick was
that
Keenan
is true.
Allen.
Yeah.
So I move up to B+.
I'll go B.
Just hard grader, man. Just coach all through and through.
I'll go B. I mean, I think the fact that we didn't have many picks And for some reason, I have been used to polls having picks on picks on picks, not having many picks, using a fourth rounder on a punter. So yeah, I that to me dropped it from A. I mean, the lack of picks and then using a pick on a punter, like
Which,
that's what got me.
what about you, is Mr. Bear?
When I was in college, I took a biology class, and there were two components to the class. There was the lecture hall part of the class, and then there was the lab. All right. I think the lecture hall was just over half the grade, and then the rest was the lab. I got an A in lab. Not bad. I think we got an A. We got an A on day one. All right. I got a D in lecture.
So
Didn't show up for class. So that's
averaged out to a C. I give the Bears a C for this draft, and obviously, it's you know, I don't like the punter in the fourth round, and he may be great. I just don't believe in doing that. You got some other depth issues going on. I can't rock with that. I don't know anything about the kid from Yale, so I'm not gonna say anything. He's a Chicago kid. Good for him. Yeah. C overall.
I think it's arm envy for Karan Ajmal. You told on yourself. You're like, how's that possible? My arms are 78.
I don't see how that's possible.
My arms are 78. I don't understand. You just held that against him. I mean, what you better than that, bro.
Man, that's amazing. I'm sorry. That the math doesn't add up there. I'm sorry.
Don't be petty like that, man.
I'm sorry, but I got a D in biology. So excuse me, I got a C in biology. So what can I say? So yeah, I'll give the Bears a C on the preliminary draft overall. But day one, big winners. Big winners. They got who they wanted. In the first pick. Well, really both picks. Did you notice that when they drafted Odunze, that pick went in real quick. So they knew what they were doing there. So yeah, I'm pumped up for the season, man. I really am. I would have rather number one stayed around, and we would have maybe done some willing and dealing with that number one pick to set us up for even next year. But
I still feel that way.
That's in the past now. That's over. Right. That's not happening. So you got to live with it. And I always said it wasn't Caleb Williams wasn't the issue.
No.
So I'm on board with him. He said all the right things throughout the draft process, and even since he's been drafted, saying the right things, doing the right things. Attitude looks great. So yeah, I'm all in with him. So yeah, bear down.
Okay. That's great. What about the rest of the draft?
I said
no. I'm talking about other teams, specifically Packers, Lions, Vikings. Okay, well, let me say this. JJ McCarthy went to Minnesota. How do you feel about that? I'm sorry, JJ and Dallas Turner. Excuse me, let me throw that in there.
Minnesota got that. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they did.
Yes.
Ooh.
That's what I'm saying.
Ooh.
Yeah, Brian Flores got somebody else.
I knew the JJ McCarthy. They traded up for both of those, right?
No. Well, yeah,
they didn't. They did trade up for
yeah, they went from 11 to 10 because they didn't want. They got a little spooked that somebody might, move ahead of them. So they went from 11 to 10, and then they went from 23 to 17. They traded with Jacksonville.
Here's the deal. I don't think JJ's not going to be the day one starter.
No.
But
might not even play this year.
Nah, I think he'll play at some point.
I'm gonna tell you this. I'll say it right here, right now on our show. Do not snooze on Darnold. He could be comeback player of the year. If Geno Smith can do it, I don't see any reason why Darnold can't, particularly because he got a lot of that stuff flushed out of his system in San Francisco last year. The offense in San Francisco, terminology-wise, it's not very little difference at all with Minnesota's. Kevin O'Connell is a very, very good play caller and very good play designer. He has supreme talent in Justin Jefferson.
Did he get a start last year in San Francisco?
He did.
I think maybe late in the year he might have. He did play some. But you're talking about a guy who was a second pick in the draft. He's got the talent. It's just not unlike Justin. He was in the bad situations, and he went from situation bad to worse. It scars you. And when your development is stunted at an early time, it's some of that's on you, no doubt, but not a lot of it. Not a lot of it. Especially when the coaching staff isn't doing any favors, the GM isn't doing any favors. It's tough. But you go to a place and you can get some of that stuff purged out of your system. And then you go to another place that's the talent is there to support what you can do, and the coach understands what you can do. You know, he's not an old dude, man. Darnold's like what, 26 maybe? 27 at most. Good arm. He can throw it. The biggest thing with him coming out of USC was ball protection. He fumbled a lot because he kept the ball down low and knocked the ball off his hands. And every times where he would be going good and then he hit a little bit of a rut, it'd take him a bit to get out of the rut. He can avoid those things, which he should be able to do because you've got two wide receivers, a hellified tight end, and a pass-catching running back in Aaron Jones. You have two good offensive tackles, and your interior offensive line is pretty solid. And you have a good defensive coordinator with an improving defense, and even more of a defensive element now that's a chess piece in Dallas Turner who you can move around. And they have like a third place schedule. So they don't have a real hard schedule either. And nobody's people are already expecting them not to be any good.
They got fourth place schedule. Didn't they finish last in the division?
Did they finish last in the division, or did we finish last in the division?
Oh no, we finished.
No, we
last.
finished
We
last.
were the 9th pick.
Yeah.
Pick. They were the 12th. I mean 11.
Right. Exactly. So, but they got a third place schedule. So it's like, but that's the same team that went to the playoffs 2 years ago. There's not a lot missing off of that talent wise. Quarterback, obviously, but they had a lot go wrong last year with injuries, so on and so forth. So I'm just saying, do not snooze. And I don't think JJ is coming in there beating out. JJ's not beating out Sam Darnold this year. Sam Darnold has a year here where, unlike Mike Glennon, when he came to the Bears, he said, "This is my year." They told me this was my year. Sam Darnold is going to try and do the Baker Mayfield thing or the Ryan Tannehill thing, where I have a really good year and people notice that, and then I can leverage that into something else. Now, if that's what the Minnesota Vikings go for, great. But I think that's the reason why JJ McCarthy's there, so that you can pay Justin Jefferson. But I don't think JJ's necessarily. Unless Sam gets hurt, I don't think JJ's going to play this year. I don't think JJ's ready for the NFL, to be quite honest with you. I think he can be. I just don't think he's ready just yet. And you look at Green Bay, they got offensive help, they got defensive help, they got depth at running back. They got Marshawn Lloyd out of USC to back up A.J. Dillon and Jacoby Jones. Or is it Jacoby? No, not Jacoby Jones. What is his name? The running back that they got from the Raiders.
Jacobs.
Jacobs, I'm sorry.
Josh Jacobs.
Minnesota.
Josh Jacobs.
Minnesota got Josh Jacobs.
No,
Green Bay.
Green Bay.
Green Bay does.
Green Bay got right because Minnesota got
Aaron Jones.
At Jones, right.
Right. So I'm just saying, like, they didn't lose anything. They got a better defensive coordinator, or at least should be a better defensive coordinator than the one they had. And then Detroit messed around and really had a really good draft pick. Those two cornerbacks they got shored up a huge weak spot for them. And they got some additional players. Oh, and Green Bay got the best linebacker in the draft, and this dude out of Texas A&M. So, I mean, it went from being perceptively the toughest division in football, or the second toughest, to where it may be the toughest. So that's both the AFC North and NFC North, they ain't playing. And all the quarterbacks are young. They ain't going nowhere. Goff is the old guy who's like, what, 28?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
29 maybe.
Before we get out of here, Michael Penix going to Atlanta. What's your guys' thoughts on that?
Insane.
Definitely shocked the hell out of me.
Insane. And I hate that he went there with Cousins being there, because he's not going to play unless Cousins gets hurt. He's not going to play for 2 years. And Michael Penix is already 72 years old. So by the time he gets ready to start, he's going to be 75. And it's just not fair that you should be starting at that age. Yeah, it's tough, but I don't know. I don't know what that's going to do to that locker room, because you got a brother at quarterback in a chocolate city, so to speak, with players who, it's not like it's Kirk's team. Kirk's just getting there too.
Mm-hmm.
And Kirk he's a fuddy-duddy compared to those other guys in terms of those guys are young guys. And Michael Penix, although older, is still younger than Kirk Cousins by a month or two. No, but he's younger. But culturally,
He ain't that old, man. Stop.
No, he's not. He's not. He moves that old, but culturally, he fits that vibe of that team off the bat, just looking from the outside. And Kirk has got to feel some kind of way. I mean, his wife is from the Atlanta area, but he up, in Minnesota, it wasn't like he was re-signed. So, but it's like Kirk just got told his contract is voided after he's got 2 voidable years. So that 4-year contract looks like a 2-year contract right now.
Still got $100 million coming his way though.
That's true. That's true. To add on to the other 200 or 300 million that he's made in the NFL, so he shouldn't be pissed. But I don't know what that means for a guy who might still want to play, still trying to win a Super Bowl just before he retires. And Kirk is what, 34, 35? At least 35. So how much longer is he really going to play? So I think he thought that he had a full 4 years there. Maybe year 3 they draft a quarterback, but not get there. You
2 weeks after he gets there.
2 weeks after you get there, you draft a quarterback in the top 10. That says that screams you ain't gonna be here long. I mean, Sammy Davis. I mean, that's Sammy Davis Jr. Who my blind entertainers of all time?
Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles.
Ray Charles.
As I like to say, Stevie Charles and Ray Wonder, because anybody could see that dude's contract, like, you ain't staying there long. So that was crazy, dude. But here's the thing: Atlanta turned right around and still had a good draft. They still got good players. They got defensive interior guys. They stole the edge rusher that I wanted the Bears to get. They got another receiver, I believe. I mean, there was a good draft outside of the Penix weirdness. It was a good draft. So I don't know. The Raiders are probably pissed,
and I'm sure they had to. I'm sure they explained this to Arthur Blank, the owner of the Falcons. What's going on, but he had to have been. Wait a minute, we just paid this guy $100 million. Why?
I don't think they told Arthur anything. Did you see Arthur anywhere? I think they told Arthur, just stay home. Don't worry, we got it covered.
No, he was shaking hands in there, man.
Was that really him? Was that really him, or was that like an AI Arthur?
It might. You never know. You never know these days. But man, that's crazy.
I don't get it, because I don't. If he were, I don't get it. But if Michael Penix were 20, 21, I get it more for the reasons that they gave. For the reason that the Falcons gave, I would understand it more. But for the reason the Falcons gave, I'm like, you need to really play him soon, because he's not a young dude.
They said if he sits 4 to 5 years, that's fine.
Then you wasted.
That's if I'm Michael Penix, I'm mad about that.
Right. Okay, but if I want to have a good NFL career, I'm playing for like 6 years, and then I'm done. Or maybe I just get one contract. I mean, it's crazy, bro. And here's the thing: it's not costing the Falcons anything, because he's the 8th pick overall. he's probably going to get maybe like 4 million a year. That ain't nothing. So maybe 5. I don't know what it is on a sliding scale, but he himself is not costing anything. It's just you need other thing. If you want trying to win now, it just seemed weird. It just seemed weird. That and the other weird thing was the Chiefs, the Bills trading with the Chiefs. Ain't no way in hell.
Why do you help
me
them?
In the first round and you trying to move up? No, man, lose my number, dude.
Unless you're gonna you're giving me next year's first round pick for this? No, no, I'm good.
Why do I want next year's first round pick? It's gonna be 32 or 31.
It's still another first round pick, though.
Nah, bro. I'm not trying to help you. They turn around and drafted the fastest wide receiver in the draft. What are you doing?
When the Bills, you need receivers.
Well, here's this. Here, you want to know what's hilarious? The Chiefs draft the fastest receiver in the draft, 4.21, Xavier Worthy. And the Bills turn right around and draft probably the slowest receiver in the draft.
They got Keon Coleman, right?
They got Keon Coleman, like a 4.67 or 4.64. It's like, okay, you need to take the top off the defense. Like he's a good receiver. I have no problem.
Well, no, he's got steady feet in the snow. That's why you draft a 4.6 guy.
Yeah, he's not going to be
slipping and sliding. He's got an 86-inch wingspan
too. Not quite, but it's impressive. It's an impressive wingspan. But yeah, dude, those are two of the weirdest first round things to me. I couldn't wrap my mind around. I was like, why would the Bills trade? And it's like add AD Mitchell right there for you to take. Like, yeah, nah, we're good. Let's let our opponents. Let's give them first pick of whoever they want. It just didn't make any sense to me. Keon Coleman's wingspan is just 78, so it's like you is.
Does he have a 38-inch arms too? That's interesting.
38-inch. No, his arms are just 32.
By the way, very tough to find shirts with that length of arm there. Very tough.
It doesn't make it. It's crazy.
Extremely
it's
tough.
Crazy, but I mean, hey, man, it as they say, it's I can't make this stuff up.
Sometimes you can.
He's got. I'm sorry, I apologize. It's not 86. You were right. It's 85 and a half.
85 and a half. Yeah,
that's and his arms are 36 though.
All right, let's get out of here, man. Rookie camp is right around the corner. And after that, we'll be getting in the training camp, man. We got OTAs and then
whoa. Slow down. I want to keep my job for a little bit longer. Don't rush me through the summer.
Yeah, we got to worry about that.
Yeah, let's get that extension. Let's get one more year in.
Yeah, we're gonna talk some basketball in the next couple of weeks here. So get ready for that. Playoffs are in full effect.
Hey, before we leave out, Mighty White Sox, baby. Hey. Don't count them out.
I was at the walk-off game. They got, they won 3 in a row now. A nice sweep of the Rays.
Sweep of the Rays.
They've now won a whole 6 games. Good for them. What are they now? 6-22?
Something like that.
That's not good.
Unless you were there, it may just be a fabrication. But Ez was there, so it really did happen.
It happened.
Hardly any fans show up.
It happened.
Yeah, Lord.
It happened. But yeah, good shout out to them, I guess, 3 wins in a row. It's a winning streak. Those things can happen. It's possible. It's possible.
True.
Yo, let's get out of here. That's going to do it for this week's edition of the Easy Smoke and the GM podcast. We want to thank you all for listening. We greatly appreciate it. You can catch us at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. It's not that many platforms out there anymore. Or wherever you can find your favorite podcast. YouTube. We're on YouTube too, I think. Yeah. You can also catch us at hp53productions.com. There you'll find a link to our podcast, and you also find a link to the Super Duper podcast hosted by Rob Griggs and yours truly. Yo, Glenn.
Yep.
Please take us out.
Hey, it's like we always say here at Easy Smoking the GM, the podcast. We ain't saying we're right. We just know we ain't wrong.
Catch you next week.